Okay, we're over here on the west side of the house, behind the fence. I don't know why that's not making any noise there. We'll have to look into that a little farther. Our rain gutters do not discharge water far enough away from the structure. Okay, and then the splash blocks, I'm sure the builder left them like that. Those are turned out backwards, so what we got here is a little termite pond. Right, excuse me. Well, it is a termite pond, but I was speaking of mosquito larvae, a mosquito pond. That's what we got. It's a slab foundation, and around the perimeter of our foundation, we've got a parge coat. It's like a cake frosting, and that's an aesthetic thing. Sometimes it covers up construction boo-boos and those kinds of things. It might even cover up repairs. We don't know. The thing about the cake frosting is just because the frosting is cracked doesn't mean our cake is cracked. And just because the frosting is not cracked doesn't mean our cake is not cracked either. So we're coming on along over here. We've got continuous soffit vents, so we're going to be looking at something in regard to the rooftop ventilation, which we do have some exhaust vents up there. Composition shingle roof. This house is about 5 years old. So the roof is going to be about 5 years old. It's going to be about the age of the house. Over here we have what's known as a dead valley. And what happens with the dead valley is that when the water comes down the roof like that and it hits that, it doesn't run off of your roof as fast as it would. See, it runs off your roof real fast over here. Over here it runs down and it's all behind there. And so I'm not promising you that's where your leak will come from, because all roofs do leak. But that's, we're asking for it. And then over here, I can look up right in there. I hope you're focusing. Right there. I know that's not focused. So right there. Okay, that's our closed dryer vent, and it's clogged with lint. So that needs to be cleaned out. Also, that closed dryer vent is too small. Okay, that doesn't meet current requirements. Something over here, these are windows. The house faces north, we're on the west side. These windows go into the kitchen. Kitchen's on the other side of these windows. It looks like some people got in here and sealed this a little bit. And then I see this blue tape up there, so I know another home inspector called this out for some reason. And I'm guessing that he's calling it out is because our cap flashing is extended out a little bit. I'll go ahead and take a picture of that. Hey, good eye, Mr. Inspector. Let's see. Okay. Photo. No, we're good. Zoom. And voila. Okay. Well, somebody called me. So we got the brick. We're coming along here, and these are weep holes. Brick is a very good building material. Okay. This house can burn down and you can reuse your brick. So it's a very good building material. And build another house with the new brick. Maybe even pay more for it because it'll be distressed or whatever. We don't want our house to burn down. It's a very good insulator. But a characteristic about brick is that it's very porous and water runs right through it. And it's designed to do that. It's not designed... So if we have a rainstorm or whatever, we know it's going to rain. This house was built to withstand the weather. We have weep holes over here. Most of the time, it's only going to be vapor that comes out and you'll never see it. But sometimes you might have an event inside. I hope you don't. I've seen a few, but I hope you don't. And then the water will actually run out of there. So those weep holes are there on purpose. You don't want to clog those up. They weren't left open. They weren't an accident. They're not an issue. Those weep holes are there by design. And then we're coming on along over here. Now, we live in North Texas, but they were not designed for the lawn sprinklers to hit them every morning at 6 o'clock. Okay, this sprinkler head is a little close. Okay, it's supposed to be about 5 inches away from the structure, and at a minimum. Okay, and so that's kind of close. It looks like right here we got a little erosion. It's not really happening, but we got a little erosion developing right in there. And so, but we're in North Texas, things move. We've got this much brick. Everybody expects it to move. Everybody expects this to move. So what we have is control joints. Some people call them expansion joints. Call them what you will. But we've got some control joints over here. And they are there on purpose. This was by design. And so we'd rather it move here than have those zigzag cracks all around and those kinds of stuff. Yeah, we're trying to avoid that. So we got these control joints. Now the thing about sealant, and we put some sealant over here too. See that? The thing about sealant is it dries. It dries and it shrinks and it pulls away from the materials and pull away from the brickwork. So every year or so, you need to walk around the house and you need to check all of your sealant and make sure that this has happened. Now most people do things by reaction. I'm seeing a lot of sealant over here around these windows where I had the cat flashing over there and the blue tape and all that. Okay, why did they do this? Why is that sealant here? Okay, that's just dust. Okay, why is that sealant here? Most people, like I said, I wish people were more proactive, but I wish I was more proactive as well. And I put a lot of things off on an as-need basis. And I do a lot of reactionary stuff. But what they're probably reacting to is some kind of water infiltration. Okay? I mean, somebody doesn't wake up in the morning and it's like I'm asking you to do and go around and check all their seams and their sealant and stuff. They don't do that, you know. So there's got to be some history here, you know, about why that happened. Now we're moving on along. Windows and windows and windows. Our screens look like they're in pretty good shape. They're starting to show signs, you know, natural signs of their wear. The screens won't last as long as the windows. And people have different opinions about screens. I like them, but a lot of people, you know, they take the screens off. They want more light to come in. I'm not, you know, I'm just telling you what some people do. Okay, we got our post over here. And the thing about this post, okay, column, okay, is unlike the columns over there, I can't tell whether it's got a stand underneath it or not. What's to keep the water from wicking up in it? What's to keep the water from coming? And then we have all this over here. We got all this sealant. Check that out. So again, let's go back to the conversation just a little while up there, up the west wall. People usually do things. Okay. This is not termites. This is ants. An ant shelter tube is loose like that, and a termite shelter tube is more like concrete. Head's too close, it's attracting the ants. Ants like rotten wood, so do termites, by the way. So do termites. And here's another thing about the evolution with the ants. Right there, by disrupting them like that, I just created 3 more ant beds. Okay, because they are programmed. When their nest gets interrupted, to survival for the species, they will go out and propagate 3 more ant beds. So I'm sorry about that, but we had to look at it a little bit. Like the outbuilding over here, like the gazebo, okay, we got a long space over here without any interruption. Nice open space. I like that. But I don't know if it was engineered for it. We're used to seeing more posts, you know, closer, more posts in common. Moving on around. Let's see if I can get in here a little bit. Got a little bit of paint chip right there. Coming in here, water resistant, that's a good thing. GFCI protected, that's a good thing. Now, one other thing we're supposed to have here is we're supposed to have a little notice on here that says GFCI protected. They're kind of ugly. I peeled mine off. But you're supposed to have that so that you look at it and you know that it's been identified as a GFCI. You don't have any power, then you know that it tripped for some reason. Okay. And another thing that's kind of interesting here, a little bit of paint there, is this deadbolt does not engage 100%. All right. This deadbolt only engages about that far. Right. It doesn't engage at all. Okay. So that's locked, even though it only. I just got it all the way in. See there? That's why I like my clients here. You got to kind of twist it around a little bit, but it's going to save me some explanations. Haha, I'm lazy. All right, this is the primary bedroom windows. We got some more sealant. This is a better look at our roof overall. We're going to look at the roof some more. We're going to look at that baby. Our rain gutters do not discharge water far enough away from the structure. This might be where I'm getting the water from. I know it's got water. I just saw it yank, and I see water drip out. See, that's a little different. Coming on along, we're looking fine. This is not the main clean out. This is the sewer clean out. This is the primary bedroom suite bathroom. Okay, weep holes. Got a control joint around here. I'm sure we do. We had one on the other side. Sometimes I hide them behind the rain gutters, which is kind of neat. It's kind of hidden behind the rain gutter. Look at that. Okay, so they're kind of coming on along here. We got a whole video about the condensing unit. Condensing unit coils are dirty, by the way. This vent right here, and then we got some more blue tape. How soon was this? How old is that tape? Has this house been inspected recently? That tape looks old. But you want to find out whether this house has been inspected recently, because no two inspectors see the same things the same way.